bounce back here in their home atmosphere. Reynolds Gym, 7 wins last year at home, and here's the first serve of set 1.
Oh.
And that goes right into the net.
One of the 7 sins of serving, right? You never want to miss your serve at the first point of the game, after a timeout, after a long run, at game point.
That's the Rice transfer, Sahara Maruska, into the net. 4 new grad transfers, 7 seniors for Wake. A lot of new faces. And here's Alexis Finvold, one of the returning specialists. She has an ace early on.
Almost back-to-back missed serves to start off this match.
Haley, how important will serving be tonight for both these programs?
It's why they call it a game of serve and pass, right? You have to be so aggressive in both of these conferences.
Who led the Big 12 last year, now overturned by our lead referee, so an ace for Finvold.
That was definitely threading the needle there in Area 5 for West Virginia.
Kevin Wendelby is our lead ref tonight. First swing of the match for Paige Crawford off the double team. And a nice roof at the net. The tandem of Tina Grikovic. She combines with Layla Ricks.
And Wake Forest has some really lengthy players on their front row right now. This is one of their taller matchups against West Virginia. So those out-of-system balls where you know it's going to go to the outside, West Virginia's going to have to figure out something a little more crafty to do.
Here's Grkovic, the Belgrade Serbia product. One of those aforementioned grad transfers. Randy Smart replacing her star middle, Emio Gogar, from a year ago. Rexon system and a net violation, point Wake Forest.
A little bit of sloppy volleyball here at the beginning with a missed serve to start, some net plays. It seems like both teams are just trying to kind of ease into this match.
Handling the emotion of a first weekend. 1, you're getting used to new opponents, but 2, handling this crowd, the atmosphere, everything in game 2.
That's what I really enjoyed with talking with Coach Jen Greeny, was they were just so excited to play someone who wasn't themselves across the net. You're getting used to playing actual opponents that have a totally different style of play, and that's a great roll shot by Crawford.
First kill for Paige Crawford, all ACC as a freshman. Last year, right outside the honorable mention team. But clearly a ton of talent for the 2-year starter.
And one thing I really love about Paige Crawford is her repertoire, right? She doesn't just have one kill shot. She has a multitude of shots that teams really have to do a good job defending against.
Now 1v1 and a nice kill on the outside for Cassidy Tanton, who grew up 30 minutes from here outside of Rockingham, North Carolina. Good kill for the hometown native.
I bet you she's got some family here tonight.
Her dad, Scott, was a football player down the road at Western Carolina. And this place is completely packed. Hard to find a seat in Reynolds Gym. As Ricks hits it off hands. First kill for the grad transfer out of Maryland.
And that's the kind of net spreading we're going to want to see from Wake Forest, right? Your offense gets really, really one-dimensional when you only have one pin hitter who's able to put it down. And that's kind of what we saw against Hofstra.
Wake Forest graduates a top 10 all-time player in total kills. Ashley Slater and an elite middle in Ogogar. Those are big grad transfer replacements. Tough serve from Baker. Now a joust at the net goes over. This is Crawford. Good downline shot, the cut angle for the point.
Another amazing shot by Crawford. We're going to take a look at that here. 4-4 spot.
Randy Smart noted this offseason, Crawford developed a variety of shots, needed more multitude of angles. She puts it to use there with the net play, and that goes out of bounds, point Wake Forest.
Right now we're seeing a big breakdown in serve receive from West Virginia, and again, that's why they call it a game of serve and pass. Wake Forest is being really, really aggressive from behind the service line, which I know is kind of one of their program ethos, but nonetheless, West Virginia has to figure out a way to get into a serve-receive rhythm.
Deacons 5th in the ACC in serving last year. And good hands at the net by Dior Charles, back from an injury. Emma Farrell on the bump set. A West Virginia team that held Navy below 100 hit percentage, and a kill there on the outside. Good swing from Quincy Coyle.
Fabulous covering and scrappy plays throughout the duration of that rally. Both teams putting up a really great block.
This is a West Virginia team, only 13 on the roster. It's a brand new club under Jen Greeny. Coyle, one of the key returners. Baker in system, and Wake loves to feed their middles.
That was decent, right? 6'1" middle blocker New York Charles certainly plays like she's taller than 6'1". We call that like a 3 or a B ball. Just a really great play to get in between their block.
Randy Smart noting her physicality. We need to use that better this year. Such an aggressive sophomore out of Los Angeles, where Randy Smart came from, her former job, Cal State LA. Here's a tip shot. What a save by Baker. And now West Virginia with Reed's bump set. Through the double, point Mountaineers. Coyle with her second.
And I would imagine we're going to see a lot more of that from Coyle tonight. An uncharacteristic missed dig by Emma Farrell, who's won just about every ACC award you can imagine.
Farrell last year led the conference in total digs. That time gets beat. That's a rarity. Here's the overpass. And good hands by Charles. Coyle again. That stays in. Third kill. And West Virginia feeling the pin hitters early, Haley.
They are definitely feeding those pin hitters early. Typically, you want to establish the middle early on in the game so that you get more one-on-one situations. But when you have an outside with the physicality of Coyle, she can get through a double block. She throws her thumb down for those great 4-to-4 shots.
That's 4 kills on 6 swings for the pin hitters. And that ball is kept up for a moment. Point Wake Forest. We noted Olivia Murphy in the open. Her first kill of the match.
One thing I really like about her is that she'll tip or roll, not because she has to, not because it's a trap set, but she'll do it because she sees it open. You can see when she gets set that she looks to see what's open on the court. And that's going to have to be an adjustment made by West Virginia as they're in rotational defense right now.
That goes out, but the lead referee overturns the line judge. So point, West Virginia.
We see a little bit of frustration from Wake Forest. It looks like Randy Smart might be using her challenge.
Each coach 2 challenges. You win a challenge, you keep it. And there's a bonus challenge in the 5th set if needed. So there is the challenge from Randy Smart.
And this has been point-for-point volleyball. Every point is going to matter. And as a reminder, if she wins this challenge, she gets to keep her challenge. So when they first brought out the challenges, no matter what, win, lose, or draw, even if you were right on the challenge, you would lose it. But now you get that challenge back. So if nothing else, it'll act as a great timeout for Wake Forest to kind of get resituated. But best case scenario for Wake Forest is that that call really didn't have a touch.
Who looks at our replay machine. And here's the calling. Ball stands.
So the initial ruling was ball in, and that will stand. We're going to take another look here.
The magic eye in the sky with the answer. That seems right.
That seems in. Definitely a good call.
Randy Smart,
by the down ref,
who welcomes her son to campus this week. He begins college as a freshman. She said it was one of those moments where you grow up fast watching your players move in and having your own child check in for school.
That must be a weird feeling. I'd imagine he's got to be at the game tonight, right?
One would certainly hope.
You can't miss a game if your mom's the coach. Automatic super fan.
This place was rocking last night again here in day 2. And a service substitution. This is Becca Bellows, the true freshman of Illinois, coming in. Dangerous serve and an ace for Becca.
She's got such great height, standing at 6 feet. The trajectory of her serve is really lethal.
Bellows part of a 4-player freshman class. And she got a ton of time played in 3 sets last night. Back row attack out of the Bic. That's dug out. Ricks a hefty swing and her second kill.
I love seeing that diversification. Typically you see teams, if it's an out of system play, they just just kind of toss it up to the outside. And I really enjoy seeing both pins getting involved because it's going to make the opposing middles not be able to release early.
Tight to the net, and that ball sneaks through. Ricks, who's been really aggressive, 3 kills in this set, Haley. Didn't have a point yesterday. What a start in game 2.
I would imagine that's certainly something they probably worked on in practice this morning and in warm-ups, getting her more involved in the offense.
Layla Ricks, nearly 500 kills in her Maryland career in the Big Ten. And that serve goes out, stopping the 4-0 run.
You have West Virginia with no libero in for this particular play, as the libero can only serve for 1 middle. So you have Maddie McGath out there. So if you're Wake Forest, you always want to hit the middle. If that serve is in, you want to hit left back. You want to make the middle play defense.
To your point, West Virginia led the Big 12 in service errors last year, and 3 early mistakes for the Mountaineers.
It's a delicate balance, right? You want to serve really aggressive. You want to serve the lines because you're playing these great teams, and you know if they get a perfect pass, they're going to shove it down your throat.
That time the block does the work. That's Tina Grinkovich with the roof.
Wake Forest coming in here. Take a look at that press. It's not always about how high you get when you block, but it's about how far you can press over the net. They always tell you, be a roof, not a wall. But that's from a libero, so take it with a grain of salt.
And then serve it not to the window, but over the net. Both teams trading service errors here in set 1. We'll take a timeout at the 15-point mark. In just the 6th ever meeting between these programs. You got to go back to Haley's career a decade ago, last time they met.
Hey, hey, hey. It was 2018.
I mean that all in love and kindness.
It was 2018. It was not a decade, okay. But we did lose. We played at West Virginia, and that's a tough place to play.
And now we'll take the media timeout. All in good fun here. 15-10, Wake Forest early. Damon Dinkins off to a good start offensively as we'll take the timeout in Winston-Salem.
Did you know that if you shave...
Forest busy in the portal this offseason, uploading some grad transfers to the occasion. We've seen Layla Ricks, 4 kills early on. Gurkovich has checked in. Marushka and Jamie Sander from the beach volleyball side. This is a nice crop of talent for Randy Smart.
Definitely bringing in some balance. I love whenever a coach brings in not only freshmen, but also those grad transfers who can make an immediate impact, which obviously we're seeing tonight with Ricks.
Gurkovich led Rutgers in hit percentage last year. Ricks, top 5 in points for her Maryland club. And what a start. 4 kills on 4 swings for number 4. Just works that way in sports.
Yeah, I guess so.
With Haley Brooke Weiss, who last played this West Virginia team in 2018. I'm Evan Budrovich. West Virginia out of rotation, so a point for Wake Forest.
Very unusual to see that, especially out of a timeout at this level. It looks like the setter might have left a little bit early. They're in rotation 1, so you can see she's kind of tucked back there.
Yeah, Tanton and the libero were mixed matched, and now the libero Reed with a nice save. So there's the free ball. Tough set.
Ooh.
And that left-handed swing comes up short. That was an area of concern last night for Wake, hitting in some tight sets. Lost to Hofstra in 3 sets, but all 3 came down to swing points at the end.
Yeah, and playing a team that's as physical as West Virginia, you can't really get away with a ton of those really tight trap sets.
Here's the new setter, Bellows in. Crawford makes the most of it. Now Coyle off hands and a kill. So Coyle with 4 early kills.
It's a great out-of-system set by Reed. Perfectly executed. But this might not be Reed's total first time seeing Wake Forest. Her freshman year, she was over at Carolina, followed by 3 years at Wisconsin.
Well-traveled, a lot of these players.
Well-traveled.
So Sydney Reed, the UNC transfer with a bump set. Back row attack.
West Virginia wanting a call.
And the antenna touch. That'll give it to Wake
But might
Forest.
not get it. Doesn't look like she wants to challenge it.
Jen Graney, who was an All-American middle at Washington State as a player, certainly knows a thing or two about net play.
And we have Tanton surprisingly coming out for Kristen McBride, 5'9" senior DS. It looks like West Virginia realizes they really need to make a switch up right now to improve the serve receive so they can get some offense manufactured.
Much better return there. And off the net, no, off the hands, in fact. So point West Virginia.
That was almost an iffy one. It almost did look like it was in the tape.
Paige Crawford surrenders the point.
And we're going to have McGath going to the front row. Hitting .500 right now, 2 attempts, 1 kill in the middle for West Virginia.
Here's Crawford on the offensive end, off hands. Wake hitting .580 in the set. Oh, what an effort. Farrell flips it over. Now Coyle off 2. Scrappy play from Wake leads to a kill. What a rally for Olivia Murphy and company.
Wake Forest is really doing a great job lasting in those long rallies. And I think things have just been a little bit unlucky for West Virginia. Look at that backhanded flipper from Farrell. We don't see that too often, and you really can't teach that. That's just straight athleticism and experience in the game.
Emma Farrell, a 2-time all-conference player, knows how to do it in the ACC. Quick in-system swing, gotta love that, for Maddie McGath just into the match.
And that's exactly what West Virginia needs. When they get a good pass, they need to absolutely feed McGath, right? Because otherwise, the offense has become really one-dimensional. We have Quincy Coyle with 10 attempts. And then after that, it's Tanton with 5 attempts. And everybody else just kind of has 2 and 3 here and there. So Wake Forest knows it's going to go to an outside hitter.
Through the double team, Maruska with the kill. She's back in the front row, her first kill of the match. Pretty
Undersized for the ACC. She's a roster 5'8", so we'll say 5'8" with shoes, which again in the ACC 6'1" is considered undersized, but her athleticism and her jump really makes up for what she might not have in terms of height and physicality.
Was a specialist offensively for Rice, and that program won 25 matches a year ago.
Not too shabby.
Now on the bump set, that's saved by Crawford. West Virginia hitting .208 in the set. Wake's been active at the net. That time it goes through the hands and no touch. So point Wake Forest.
Again, West Virginia really just needing to find some offensive production from someone aside from the outsides.
What's impressed you about Wake's play at the net so far, Haley?
The insane amount of blocks. They're doing an amazing job reading, pressing, and closing the block. We see every single time there's been no one-on-one situations where West Virginia can get an easy kill. They have to work for every single one of their kills, and if they get it past the block, then they have to worry about an all-ACC defender. So it's been really tough for West Virginia to find the floor.
Wake with 2 team blocks, but also hitting 4 hitting errors from the opponent. They've been solid at the net tonight.
And they're causing West Virginia to make errors. You get frustrated if you keep getting blocked and keep getting blocked. It starts to get really frustrating, and then you have Wake Forest who's siding out 71% of the time, and they say if you can side out 58% of the time, you're going to win that game more than likely. So they're leaps and bounds ahead of that margin.
And the force is strong with that fan. That is certainly the case.
Yeah, this is kind of fun.
Now I have so many questions.
I do too, but you know, he's got the colors and the spirit. So that's what matters.
Adding to the entertainment here on ACC Network Extra. Jen Graney, who inherited this program from Reid Sunahara after a decade at West Virginia. And she noted, big offseason goal, we have to feed our middles more. West Virginia was so pin hitter heavy in 23.
Which we're seeing that kind of come back to bite them a little bit right now, because Wake Forest knows exactly where the set's going, and the passing really hasn't been good enough for them to run anything.
That's why West Virginia has 4 hitting errors, and Farrell goes into the net with her service.
That's really a point for Jen Greeny, if you think about it.
You slow momentum down, right? You stop the run.
It's a great timeout call. And we're going to have Cassidy Tanton re-enter the game. Only 1 kill right now. Wake Forest has done a great job neutralizing her at the net.
Baker goes in system. And a scramble drill here for the Mountaineers. Now in system, Gurkovich with the kill, and Ryan Baker made something happen at the net.
Ryan Baker is so seasoned, so talented. It's been so exciting to see her really develop as a setter. She's 5'10", about the perfect size for a setter, especially in the ACC. And she's done a great job spreading that offense.
We saw what Savannah Vaught did last year at Miami. 11 assists per set. That's the magic number in the conference. Good effort here from Gurkovich to keep it up. And Maruska shoots it through the double. Wake 3 points from the set. And more impressively, Haley hitting 500 plus in set 1.
They are really making it tough for West Virginia. We see this scramble play. Emma Farrell doing a great job giving that second ball. And they really are torching that off blocker.
An ace will add to the run for Bellows. It's 5 different players with multiple kills. Very balanced at the front row.
Precisely. It's really spread for Wake Forest in terms of attempts. You have 5, 4, 5, 3, 4, 7. That's really spread, where you look over at West Virginia, they have 13, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And then 8, 6, 7, 5, 3, 0, 9, and we keep this thing rolling tonight. Bellows looks to serve out the set for Wake.
She gave him a little bit of trouble in that beginning of this first set. With her serve, she's just got such a great angle on it. This is not a rotation West Virginia is going to want to be in right now.
3-0 run leads to set point. Great effort off the tape. Into the double, and Wake's block dominates set 1. Damon Deacons goes from the likes of setting up All-Americans, Savannah DeBeer and Iko Jones. Now working the offense with an ace for West Virginia. Good start.
We'll say that was a tactical miss by Wake Forest. That's how you follow it all the way to the line, but it looks like that call was overruled, and it is an ace.
3 aces for both clubs so far. And that one goes right into the net.
Rule of thumb, you kind of want to be balanced. If you have an ace and an error, a 1-to-1 ratio is okay. But what you don't want is a ton of errors, obviously, and hardly any aces. That's where you have to really balance that aggression.
The Dayton Flyers led the country. 2.5 aces a set last year. That club made it to the second round of the tournament. That goes off hands and in. Good swing down line for Cassidy Tanton. And you mentioned it, Haley, the diversity of the offense in this set.
Diversity of the offense is going to be key, but we can see West Virginia is in a rotational defense, so their middle back kind of swoops to the right back, whereas Wake Forest stays in the perimeter, which leaves their line a little bit more vulnerable. So if West Virginia is able to find that line more often, they're going to see a lot more offensive production.
Wake trading points with the service and the errors. And now it's Ryan Baker in for Wake.
Lots of subs for Wake Forest. Running that 6-2, so you always have a setter in the back row. Burns those subs really fast.
That hit the net, but never touched a Wake player. So point Wake Forest, and now Jen Greeny with some questions. Wait, overturned by our R2 at the net.
Randy Smart is saying that it hit the antenna before Wake Forest blocked it out, but I'd have to see it closer, slower, because it almost looked like
I think to your point, that first replay,
hands.
though, hit the antenna first.
Yeah. But they're awarding it still to West Virginia, so West Virginia is 2-0 on those kind of questionable calls.
That's what Dee Batchelor's explaining to Randy Smart.
Randy Smart not too happy about that one, but this is where you have to have that short-term memory and get right back into serve receive.
And Haley, when you burn your first challenge early, you have to be wise about using the second one too.
Precisely, especially games like this where it's really been point for point. Wake Forest broke away middle of that last set, but Wake Forest could get into sub trouble later on and some different things, so they're not going to want to upset that apple cart too much.
A perfect 2 for 2 on kills for Wake, and an ace adds to it. West Virginia now with a 3-point lead.
Second ace on Sahara. Uncharacteristic, as her serve receive has been pretty strong thus far, but they do have Kendall Phillips on the bench, who's also known for her serve receive if Wake Forest is in a pinch.
You see Baker backing up to the 10-foot line. Well, that won't matter for Murphy. Strong kill from the right side.
Great spread offense from the Demon Deacons.
You think about velocity of arms, right? Shaftmaster up at Minnesota has an electric arm. Murphy's right up there here in the ACC. Powerful weapons.
We used to use radar guns on our serves to see how fast they went, and I'd say the really good servers on our teams typically were in the 40-mile to 50-mile-per-hour zone on those floats. The top spin balls tend to be a little faster. So these are coming at a really high velocity, and I can only imagine the swings are probably double that.
Paige Crawford keeps that alive, and that swing goes out. Wake with the hitting error. Only their second of the match, both here in the second set. What has West Virginia done to flip the tide here in set 2?
I think it's been a couple of unlucky plays for the Demon Deacons. A close ball that was called an ace, maybe, maybe not. A pinball that maybe, maybe not was out. So just some unlucky things here early in the second.
Murphy on the back set, that hitting error awry. And the West Virginia front line causing trouble with this Wake hitting.
Their block really is causing a lot of errors. And we can see Randy Smart calling that timeout for the Demon Deacons, down 3-8. We'll see you soon in Reynolds Gymnasium. And it's caused the Wake Forest Demon Deacons to make a lot of errors, especially because the serve receive has been a little bit shakier this set for the Demon Deacons. So a lot of those balls are out of system, which is a lot easier for the block for West Virginia to camp on them.
And a matchup of 2 of the 3 highest RPI conferences in the country, Big 12, ACC, 2 teams picked right in the middle of their respective leagues. And Wake dominant in set 1. Here's West Virginia in set 2. Murphy has to bump this over. And a Wake team that had no hitting errors in the first set, a little out of system in the second. That ball does find the floor, and the kill there for Maruska.
Lauren Dello looking a little flustered with that. The 6'2" graduate setter pulled back right now, but it looks like Finvold is the one setting in the front row. So kind of an interesting dynamic for West Virginia right now.
That was one area Jen Greeny wanted. Dello had 9 assists a set last year, but they love her passing in the back as she gets targeted there. Using Finvold a little more for the offense this year in that 5-1.
And Finvold has been really aggressive. We saw her have a really aggressive dump early on. She's great up at the net with the tight balls. She has a really strong block. There's no reason that she can't compete just as well as anybody else up there.
Emma Farrell with a float serve that causes trouble. Good play at the middle and the kill for Gurkovich.
That's a tough one. Finvold doing what she can to put up a block, but whenever there's an overpass and it's a one-on-one situation, it should always be a kill.
Gurkovich has had 3 of those at the net, taking advantage of overpasses. Now Finvold on the back set. That was blasted into Reed's chest. Another big swing. Coyle beats the double. She has 5 kills early on.
West Virginia finally starting to figure out some secret sauce with the Wake Forest block.
That's Bowberry sauce. It makes all the difference.
Not sponsored, not sponsored.
Remember, though, in that first set, West Virginia negative hit percentage. Now it's a 500 with no errors so far for the Mountaineers.
Wake Forest hitting a flat line 0. So very much a script flip.
Oh, great pipe play, sneaking in on the backside, and Wake with the kill.
And that's why it's good to establish your middles. You can see West Virginia completely jumping with the middle on that B-ball, leaving Wake Forest a huge open net. And there's not a whole lot you can do about that as a defender when there's no block.
3 kills in the set for Maruska, the Rice transfer. Into a tight block, and Wake with the roof as a team now. 4 blocks.
This is a good rotation for Wake Forest.
Grikovic has caused problems at the net today, Haley.
We can see Maruska, her block call looks like she's blocking ball right now. Let's see how that works out on this slide.
Finvold goes back row, and the Bick is dug out. Maruska again, high leaper, and misses wide. So West Virginia back up 2.
That sharp angle shot was really good to her early on in the game, and it looks like she just hasn't quite found it yet.
Maruska fills some big shoes. Ava Carney, all ACC freshman, goes to Miami. And Randy Smart hits the portal to find that opposite side hitter.
And they're still figuring it out a little bit, right? You always know the middles and setters connection is really important, but with the tempo that Wake Forest runs their offense on, it is really important to have that kind of chemistry with your outsides as well.
Substitutions are in order, so West Virginia serves up 2. Bellows the back set. Ricks is blocked out, so she gets the point. That was really close, and her 5th kill.
West Virginia definitely trying to find Maruska in serve receive. Let's take a look at this back set. No close at all from West Virginia. And again, we talked about this earlier, a one-on-one block situation should be in favor of the hitter every time.
Assistant coach Mike Becker came out of his seat after that one and noted the adjustment. That one leads to a kill down the middle. Nice transition kill for Shalina Lederer.
Maruska just really having trouble with her platform right now. You can see a little bit of frustration from her. And this is going to be a little tougher serve receive. They're really trying to target her. You can see West Virginia's bench showing where to serve. It's kind of fun that we get to see that. And they're trying to hit Maruska.
You cannot hide much here in Reynolds Gym. Everyone sees it. Makes it unique in this close-knit atmosphere. How about the roof there, firing up the home faithful from Ricks?
That's exactly the momentum shift that the Demon Deacons needed. And we can see this is one of those rotations where Farrell is out. You're going to have a middle blocker serving, a new middle up front. So kind of a tougher rotation for the Deacons to stay and really get a run here to tie it up with West Virginia.
That's a long set for Finvold, a little behind her target. Ricks. Both teams hitting below 200 this set. A lot harder for offense, and that's why big hands from Ibrahim and Lederer.
Beautiful play. Lederer, 6'2", junior, middle blocker. Let's take a look. Great job reading and closing. Yep. She looks taller than that, though. She plays much taller. She has more than her elbows over that net.
Ricks looking to be creative with that tip, but it goes out. And all of a sudden, West Virginia has drastically slowed down the Wake offense that hit 500 in set 1.
And it looks like the Wake Forest setting has gotten really tight to the net. A lot of these are trap sets. Wake Forest has had to tip a lot of balls, get blocked, hitting straight into the block. They got to find a rhythm.
Paige Crawford, okay, it is overturned. Point Wake Forest.
And that'll only be her second kill out of 10 attempts on the night. So she has not had a ton of production, and she does. That's a green card. So we're going to take a look and see if she has as much luck when she's the one calling the challenges.
Yeah, you see the reaction there. Lederer's like, you better challenge that. And her coach is all over it.
And this is a big point. There's a lot of volleyball left to play in this game. Let's take a look.
No touch at the net.
Definitely was wide. So there would need to be a touch. Yep, definitely wide too. Hard to tell if there's a touch. Could have been as much as a pinky nail, but definitely not a notable enough touch to make this an easy decision for our down ref. Our opinion, but we don't necessarily have every angle that would help them make that informed decision.
It's the kind of angles that make you happy at home with the Ring camera when you have the puppy at home. Want to make sure he's not getting into trouble while you're gone. Who knows? Maybe those two fans right back there are looking at the replay on their phone.
Right?
She seems pretty locked in on that phone.
I'd like to switch seats with them so I can see what they're seeing. But it looks like we have a decision.
Now the official ruling comes in.
She has to tell the scorekeepers so they can keep the books up to date.
What do you got for us, D. Bachelor? It is ruled out.
That will be West Virginia point, so there was no touch off the block, and we really couldn't see it. But again, it's hard to know sometimes if somebody's pinky moves ever so slightly, it touches a touch, unless it's hair in the net, which is legal. If your hair hits the net, it does not count as being in the net.
West Virginia back up 4 after the challenge. Make it 5 on the roof. A solo stuff for Coyle.
It's really important after those timeouts or challenges to come out really strong and get that momentum, and that's what West Virginia has just proven that they're able to do.
This is a West Virginia team less than 2 blocks a set a year ago. Huge emphasis for new coach Jen Greeny.
Oh.
And a lift on Wake, so the rally continues.
That'll be their setter's back row, so when the setter gets a pass that's that tight and she reaches over, they're going to call her over every time, unfortunately.
We'll stay here for the timeout. And here's West Virginia bouncing back in set 2.
A complete flip of the script here in this second set.
Wow, I mean, those numbers, you don't even need an explanation. That just tells itself right there.
And that's 3 blocks for West Virginia with that. In Wake Forest, again, we kind of saw this a little bit yesterday when they hit an 0.57 against Hofstra. It's going to be really, really important that they get a hold of their out-of-system plays and that they're able to get a great ball in serve receive and get some of those first ball side outs, because they were siding out 70+% of the time last set. And we're really just not seeing that production this set.
For such a young team, Haley, and you've been on teams with new coaches and new rosters, what does a 5-0 run say when you're this early in the year trying to find your momentum?
It's all about confidence building. Being able to get a 6-point lead against an ACC team nonetheless is obviously going to give you a lot of confidence, but it also gives you wiggle room to try new plays, potentially try new serve receive patterns or different substitutions, and just kind of tweak those levers in a safe space that's not necessarily just practice.
A big road ahead here for Jen Greeny, but she has shown a ton of success back to her days at Lewis Clark State, at Washington State, all up and down the Northwest.
And West Virginia right now really doing it without one of their big hitters, Cassidy Tanton. She, again, only has 2 kills this entire match. She has won this set, won in the last set. They're finding more balance.
The husband-wife tandem of Jen and Burdette Greeny making things happen here for the Mountaineers. So Farrell forced to bump set this out of the timeout. That's pretty good, feeding Crawford for the kill.
Paige Crawford, that should be her third kill. I think on the broadcast it says 2. But taking a ball over your shoulder out of system is so difficult, especially when it's coming from the back row. It's just very, very awkward. And for her to be able to convert on that, that's huge for the Deacons.
Finvold goes middle, and that stays in. A nice kill for the fantastic middle, Layla Ibrahim.
Dior Charles up against her on that one-on-one, kind of left out to dry. You really don't want to have a one-on-one situation with teams at this caliber.
Ibrahim, who's played in this building before, she was a part of Coppin State 2 years ago when they met in an NIVC tournament. That was a 5-setter.
What a dig.
One of our longer rallies of the set, and Reed keeps it up. Coyle again through the double, and Farrell takes a swing.
Scrappy plays by both teams.
Farrell a
and
third
it's still
time.
Live.
How about this? Rally continues. Rally terminated. McGath in the middle.
McGath, one of those players who, that's only her third kill of the night, but she's gotten her kills in such important times. It's not always about quantity, it's about quality. And we can see Marushka kind of pinched in serve receive right now.
Crawford off the double, gets the point, and Paige with her third kill, but 15 swings to get there, Haley.
She's definitely making progress, still only hitting .071, so not ultra effective yet on that pin.
Paige Crawford watches her star teammates Ashley Slater, Ava Carney, and Emmy Ogogar either move on or graduate. That's her offense this year. This time on the defensive end, keeps it up, but can't save the point. West Virginia now up to 19.
West Virginia playing really smart volleyball right now. And whenever I played, we would always say, and just be so frustrated when someone would get a tip, because we would always say we want them to tip. We want them to give us a ball that theoretically should be a free ball rather than these big swings. So you want to look at the tip as a gift.
Ryan Baker quickly to Charles, and that goes off her shoulders. So point West Virginia, who now has 14 blocks in the set.
Charles had that one-on-one situation, but with Maddie McGath, just not possible.
Remember, Wake did not have an error in the first set. That has changed here quickly. 9 errors. And Murphy goes off hands. McGath on the slide, and that is in for a point. Or, pardon me, out, but the point for West Virginia.
I mean, Marushka is getting up right now again, only standing at 5'8", very undersized for an outside hitter in really either of these conferences, but super athletic.
One-on-one, and Wake gets the point. Marushka important there on the opposite side.
I love seeing players bounce back after an error. And you can tell after she makes an error, she wants to get set. She's still being aggressive. She's still calling for it. And I'm not surprised as a grad student. She's got that seasoning.
Over 100 matches in her Rice tenure. Really tight to the net. Good hands by another grad transfer coming in.
That's going to be a really tough pass for Finvold to do anything with, even though she's front row. And then this is another one of those offensive lineups that's a little tougher for West Virginia. They only have 2 hitters. They tend to run McGath on the slide
Coyle
or
goes
hit the outside.
Through that gap, tries it again. Grekovic has another block. And the Rutgers transfer making her pause impactful.
But that's why that rotation is so difficult, because their only bailout swing is the outside hitter, so everybody knows where it's going to go. And, you know, in the whole gym, everybody knows it's going to go to Coyle.
Let's see what Emma Farrell can drop. Wake down 6 in the second. Baker the back set. Oh, feisty hands from West Virginia that leads to a point.
A lot of quick hands tonight in general, whether it's the block, the coverage, the reach backs. It's been really fun, scrappy volleyball.
The West Virginia program that has not started 2-0 in the last 4 years. They need some momentum with the new coaching staff, Jen Graney's club. This ace will certainly help, and 2 points from the set.
I believe that's the third ace on Maruska. They're definitely trying to find her, and it's tough. It's really tough when you're the front row outside hitter. You have to worry about your passing responsibility and then also transitioning out to swing.
And look how much court Farrell has to cover here on this serve.
It's a really interesting serve receive pattern, actually, that Wake Forest is running.
And the block extends the lead. Farrell has the whole left side of the court, and Maruska's tucked in to the far tape.
They have Maruska. We would always call that a sliver. So she's taking that sliver of the court, and then Farrell and Crawford splitting the court, which they also do this when Crawford's front row. And then they have them kind of stand up straight in the back, and right when she gets ready to serve, they get into their position.
Which makes Farrell's effort so difficult, and the ace, West Virginia, serves out set 2.
Definitely an interesting serve receive pattern. It's really going to come down to who can maintain serve and pass and then diversify the offense.
So far as we enter set 3. With Haley Brooke-Weiss, I'm Evan Budrovich, Everett Hutto, our producer, Drew DiMarcantonio directing the show. Paige Crawford benefits from a net touch, so the first point for Wake here in set 3.
A nice start for the Demon Deacons. They're going to want to get the best cushion they can here on Maruska's serve.
With this rotation, how vital is it to feed Crawford early in this set, Haley?
I think it's going to be more vital, honestly, to feed our middles over there for the Deacons.
There's a Krill cross court for Cassidy Tanton. Because you're right, it's been so pin hitter heavy these first 2 sets.
Very pin hitter heavy, honestly, for both teams. Even Lederer, only 2 attempts for West Virginia in the front, which is going to make their offense really one-dimensional.
That goes off the net in a service error. That's 4 today for West Virginia.
All 3 sets at the beginning have had a lot of service errors. It's like everybody just needs to settle in a little bit.
West Virginia benefited on 18 aces against the Naval Academy yesterday. Led to a 4-set win.
That's huge. Really, rule of thumb is as a team, you only want to miss about 2 serves per set.
Good effort from Grikovic in the back. Better hands up front and a roof for Lederer.
Lederer might not be doing a whole lot of offensive production, but her defensive efforts have been electric. Let's take a look at how she was able to close the block. Just great timing on that.
Lederer was a JUCO All-American at Hillsborough Community College. This is a much different level, but she's up to it so far. Her first action at West Virginia. Ricks off balance, floats it over. Coyle winds up and fires a kill. Give her 6. That's a team high.
Tied now up with McGath, who's been great tonight. No errors, 6 kills, 11 swings.
And you see in this 3rd set, Wake has not been able to double as many hitters because of the combination of attack.
Exactly.
That's a great dig. And now Wake in system. Bellows goes near side. Finvold keeps it alive. A huge block by Dior Charles, the talented sophomore.
Dior Charles also having some nice offensive production with 3 kills. Up there with Ricks, who's coming off now. Ricks came out really hot, had 4 kills in that first set, but now only has 5 total on the match.
Charles, before her injury last year, was second in the ACC behind Louisville All-American Elena Scott. Was really good at the net the first 2 months.
Not too shabby.
And that's an impactful presence with her back in the lineup this year, Haley.
Definitely going to be helpful for the Demon Deacons, especially with all the holes that are left in the lineup as it stands.
That's led to Wake's 8th team block. Make it 9, and it's Charles again at the roof.
And this is exactly what they need from Charles. Let's take another look at that block. Look at that press. I love the way she throws her hands down.
Her entire forearm's over the tape.
Easily.
You could easily take a cookie from the jar there as an ace sneaks in.
And that's really what they need from her, especially with Olivia Frankie out. Seems like she might have a tweaked ankle. Graduate.
Now, meanwhile, right behind her, Elena Dragini's doing push-ups after every ace. That'll get you in shape. Another ace. Here come the push-ups.
Hot start for the Demon Deacons behind the service line.
So is that a good luck thing? Does anybody else volunteer as a player for that?
Every year they always have somebody doing push-ups. What was it? Last year I believe it was Anna Daly, if I'm not mistaken.
Make it 3 aces and the points are rolling. Here come the push-ups.
Tanton getting neutralized here in serve receive, and that's going to be a sub. They're going to pull in Haley Green, 6'2" outside senior, to hopefully get him out of this little stint here.
That forces a 5-0 run, and the lead extends to 4, all on the service line. That time Reed all over the serve. That was too many touches for Wake. That
Almost
stops the
very
run.
scrappy.
Well, if it's Emma Farrell back there, you know it's going over.
And you have Maddie McGath back in the front row. So it's important that Wake Forest did get that run so that they're able to hopefully get a little bit of a cushion for having McGath back in the front.
McGath, 6 kills on 10 swings so far. She's been really effective.
And that's going to be a free ball, but it looks like they called that first touch off of both players. So that's your 1-2, and then the third and fourth touch.
The initial player can get the touch when you add the player in.
You can double the first ball, but only with yourself.
The one time where patty cake doesn't help you in volleyball. There's an ace for West Virginia, back to a 1-point difference. Give credit here to this young roster for Jen Greeny, overcoming a 5-0 run, and they're right back in set 3.
It all comes down to mental toughness. You can give up. You have a full gym here. The crowd has been really great tonight. But they haven't let that stop them.
Target Maruska again, and the roof is busy. Ibrahim, the Coppin State transfer, with the block.
That's the second really big block against Paige Crawford. With the same swing, we can see she's kind of trying to turn it line at the last second, but West Virginia completely eating that up.
Ibrahim had 5 blocks against Pitt in the tournament last year. That was a first-round matchup. And here she is causing trouble as that ball goes out. Point Wake.
That was kind of a lucky ball. We've seen Wake Forest struggle in the last set with a lot of sets that are really tight to the net. It's great that they were able to kind of use it as a tool, but that's where injuries happen. Things tight to the net. You want to have the ball at least 6 inches to a foot off.
Finvold leaves the 10-foot line. Farrell's all over it, one of the best in the ACC. And that sneaks through the block. A kill for the right side, Olivia Murphy.
Olivia Murphy was our player to watch before this game. And we can see the middle really not able to get a full close. You want to be shoulder to shoulder when you're blocking. Again, this is from a libero, but I would love for my middles always to be shoulder to shoulder when I'm playing defense.
What a great roll shot, and that sneaks over the block for Coyle. She's up to 7 kills. That's a match high.
West Virginia doing a good job overall tonight. of finding those holes in that perimeter defense.
Coyle has not been stuck hitting through double. She's had over, she's had roll shot, tip shot.
She jumps really well, super athletic. I'm not surprised.
Crazy to think Coyle only averaged 1 kill a set last year, but making a lot of it tonight. There's a block for McGath, getting busy.
Again, McGath, she's a wall. It's really, really tough to get by her. Even in those one-on-one situations, we can see the stats say she's only tallied 3 stuff blocks, but she's obviously been a part of a lot of blocks that have gone over and been playable and block assists and things like that.
That one right in the middle of the court. And the fighter side chat leads to a point for Wake Forest.
Jen Greeny not happy about that one. Again, with teams that swing this well and are this talented, you want them to tip. You want them to give you an easy ball.
Emma Farrell serving with a 1-point lead. And gives that right back. Wake with 8 errors to 7 aces to 6 errors. That's kind of the magic number, 1 to 1.
1 to 1 is what you want. They're starting to lose it a little bit.
Baker has to make something happen there. And through the block, Maruska's done a nice job on that right side.
And this is one of those weaker rotations right now for West Virginia because Cassidy Tanton has been a little off tonight. She's hitting a -143, 14 attempts with 3 kills. Just not done the best job getting through the block or finding the floor.
Serve substitution for Wake. Tanton takes a huge rip.
What a dig by Crawford.
Reed keeps it alive. McGath, perfect spot. Farrell fishes it out. Options Bellows. Ricks, creative tip shot for the point. And how about the effort there from Farrell on the defensive end?
Let's take another look at Farrell's play. Running that 10 feet plus. And that roll shot was so sneaky. I love Ricks on that roll shot because she went up and it looked like a swing. And then it was just short.
That's 6 kills now for Ricks, 1 shy of a team best. This is a breakout effort after not scoring last night. Rotation error again for West Virginia, out of rotation, and a point for Wake.
Coach Jen Greeny not too happy about that. It looks like the way their alignment, I believe the setter is leaving early a little bit. We can see a little bit of frustration from Finvold. Normally at the collegiate level, they're not out of rotation as in like players are switched up. They're out of rotation because the setter is leaving before the serve has contacted. But we can see Greeny fighting about that. I don't know, what if you challenged that? Wouldn't that be kind of crazy? Oh, she's given a replay.
Oh, a point redo here. I think Jen Greeny made an excellent point. Her thesis statement paid off.
I wonder what the down ref called because she should know what the rotation is. I've never seen someone give a replay on that in my entire career or broadcasting.
And with that, R2 sticks with the call. And it is point Wake Forest.
So that point,
Deep Bachelor's
13th point is redacted, so it's back to 12-10.
Oh, they are replaying the point. Great point, everybody. It's a team effort here on ACC Network Extra. As the service error goes long, and now the point flips.
Well, you know what they say, ball doesn't lie. Now you have McGath behind the service line. This is one of those tougher rotations for West Virginia to get a run in just because they have a middle in the back. They tend to have some communication issues in the out-of-system balls on who should get it.
Overpass. Hit wide.
Oh.
Wow. You don't see those types of mistakes at this high level.
That's Lederer's second ball where she's gotten an overpass and she hasn't been able to get a kill. Theoretically, if you go to swing on an overpass, We were always taught only swing on an overpass when you know you're going to get the kill. Otherwise, pass it and set it up for your team.
Little confusion here for Wake, and it's flipped over by Bellows. Finvold in the middle. No easy swings here in set 3. And that time a kill down line. Tanton starting to heat up here. 4 kills, 3 of them in a set.
Finally starting to get some heat. Both blocks are doing a great job, even though there hasn't been a stuff block in quite a few points. Both blocks are doing a great job getting soft blocks, turning nice swings into free balls so that they can run the offense.
Both teams are dead even in hit percentage. It's been that close in the 3rd set. As Ricks flips one into the middle of the court.
That same shot again. And we can tell Sydney Reed, libero for West Virginia, not happy about that one.
Ricks's roll shots have been really smart tonight.
They've been great. It's really been eating Reed up. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see West Virginia make an adjustment.
A rare rotation with Emma Farrell taking a breather before the timeout. His up ball's hit wide, and there it is. 15-12. We'll step aside for a moment. Wake Forest, West Virginia battling in this 3rd set. When the girls come back, we come back on ACC Network Extra. For Randy Smart's club, and how about the presence of the 2 transfers, Rick and Maruska leading the charge?
They're making a big impact tonight for the Deacons. That's something that we talked about before the game started, was that Wake Forest was really going to need to have that balanced offense in order to compete with West Virginia, which is exactly what they've done, and that's what's really caused them to be up here in this 3rd set.
Speaks to the balance of the scoring for Wake, who does replace 3 starters from last year. Now back to a 3-point difference. Wake in front here in set 3.
Ricks has been tearing it up for the Deacons on the right side in this rotation.
Nice swing cross court, and West Virginia responds out of the timeout.
Looks like they've pulled Abraham in over for West Virginia to get a little bit of a different look in that rotation.
Now it's Tanton. Dangerous serve. Oh, miscommunication. Ace Mountaineers.
This is the time in which West Virginia really needs to capitalize and get on a run. They have a great front line right now. Quincy Coyle with 7 kills on the night, leading for West Virginia.
You can tell in this high-level match, it's going to be hard to serve tonight. 12 combined errors between the 2.
That's definitely a lot. That's a lot. But again, it's tough to find that balance when you have the dichotomy of wanting to be really aggressive and wanting to get it over and just get it into play, because it does feel like you have to thread the needle in this type of level of volleyball.
No surprise, Texas led the country in serve percentage, and here they were winning back-to-back national titles under Coach Elliott. Farrell in the back row keeps it up. And Murphy gets hands at the net, so Wake back up 3. What a story. Olivia Murphy out all of last year with a knee injury. She was at every practice grinding on the far courts away from the team, and here she is back now making an impact for Wake.
It's definitely exciting to see her be able to take the court. I'm sure it was a tough road, and that's going to be out of system.
Crawford in the middle of 3 West Virginia players, tips it through. Murphy again. Great dig by Finvold. Oh, Murphy with the roof, adding to it her return tour here in Winston-Salem.
Another tough lineup against West Virginia. You have Ricks with 6 blocks, Murphy now with 3. That's going to be really tough to get offensive production from the pin.
Timeout, West Virginia to talk things over. And this Wake Forest team is loading up with new faces. Layla Rexu was really quiet on Friday, Haley, but tonight hitting over 300, very efficient as well, swinging.
I think it also comes down to the passing, and I love that they're able to get her in transition. Not only are they running her out of serve receive like we see here, but they're doing a great job getting her in transition. Taking a look at these roll shots that have just been completely lethal. And we saw at Maryland, she played all 4 years at Maryland, and it had that same offensive production. So I'm not really shocked that we're seeing this here now.
It's certainly a good sign if you're Wake Forest. The impact transfers have swung really well in this match. There's Ricks leading the charge, hitting 333. And that's the feeling out process, Haley, of a first weekend. She played in 2 sets, maybe 3 swings total, and she's been totally a focal point of the offense tonight.
They've definitely been feeding her, and we can see at Maryland, she had 320 sets played, 1.1 blocks per set. Really, the bulk of her playing time seems to have come in the earlier part of her career. Her senior year appeared in 44 sets across 16 matches, only totaling 81 kills, so playing about half the time. And now we can see she's gotten her opportunity again with the Demon Deacons.
Murphy tight to the net, and the right side gets another point. So Murphy here in this set coming alive with 4 kills. And Murphy has fielded the last 3 points. 2 with the swing, 1 with her defensive presence. Charles reaches over the net, and those feisty hands with a kill.
That's a really tough play. Even though your setter's front row for West Virginia, when the pass is that tight, there's not really a whole lot she can do with it. Or actually, the setter's down for them, so it would have been called anyway, it looks like.
Ibrahim into a tight spot. Well, bodies are flying everywhere right now. And a double dump down. I'm not sure which one got it, but they'll combine for the point.
These tips have been detrimental to West Virginia. I know what they're going to be working on in practice come Monday, because the tips have completely neutralized their offense. They're not able to get any sort of production because they're not picking up these easy balls. They're so locked in for the tips, but they're also not blocking the tips. If their defense would just wait 1 extra second and then go up, they're going to have a little bit more out of it.
Another timeout for Jen Greeny's club, who used its defense and serving in set 2. Wake in the 6-0 runs kind of flipped the script with their serve ability.
It's crazy. It's not been runs that have really had those big shifts. It's been sets. We've had a set where Wake Forest dominates, a set in which West Virginia dominates. Now we're back, and Wake Forest has a set in which they're dominating. Obviously on a 6-0 scoring run right now, but they've had several runs throughout this set. And West Virginia is really going to need to focus in on how to pick up those tips and get the offense running in transition, not just in serve receive or off free balls.
Wake searching for its first win of the year after struggling to hit last night. A much different story today as a team right around 250, which would actually surpass their totals from all of last year by hit percentage.
In West Virginia beat Navy yesterday.
And they look really good in that 4-set win too.
So Wake Forest has them tomorrow. So if Wake Forest does notch the win against West Virginia, that's just going to give them extra confidence going into that game.
Hofstra's 2-0 in the Wake Forest Invitational. The winner of this match is right nipping at their heels. That's a deep serve kept alive. Nice downline swing. Paige Crawford on the board with her 5th kill.
Paige Crawford now finding the floor. She's tried for that line shot a few times, and West Virginia made some great adjustments, but That time she was able to find it.
Wake 3 points from set 3.
That's the time to be aggressive, though. You want to get some easy points, some aces at the end of a match when you're up big.
It's such a body language challenge, too, right? How you react to that adversity.
Very true.
Baker tight to the net. Murphy hits it wide, and West Virginia back within 6.
I know that had to be a breath of relief for West Virginia, as that swing has been really on all night.
Sydney Reed, who celebrates her birthday today, the 5th-year senior, serves it up. Here's Reed with the birthday bump. And no kill. That one's wide with no touch. So point Wake Forest.
Reed right now leading West Virginia, or tied with Finvoyd for 9 digs right now. And then you look over, Paige Crawford leading for the Demon Deacons with 11 digs. Her digs have been phenomenal tonight.
Crawford had a handful of double-doubles a year ago. She's had it on the defensive side today. That time, no answer in the middle for Maddie McGaff, who's been hot. 7 kills.
And you have Emma Farrell playing middle back against her. You can see that one-on-one. Charles trying to block line, protect the setter a little bit so they can stay in system. But it looks like Farrell just got caught behind that block on defense.
That time serving Charles. Ooh, a collision for Reed. What an effort by Reed to save it. Charles in system. Wake Forest with set point. That was a great rotation for Dior Charles.
Dior Charles definitely on her game tonight. 4 kills.
And a dance with her teammate, Olivia Fish, at the end.
Now 5 kills, pardon me, hitting at 222.
Wake Forest needs 7 straight. The block ends it. Brekovic, the transfer, secures set 3.
And that's the momentum Wake Forest is going to want to have as they enter this 4th, and they've got that as a slogan somewhere.
It was a brand new weekend in Morgantown. Pat McAfee back in the building this weekend. That place was rocking on Friday. A tough loss for the football program earlier today. And now Ricks hits over the double. She's been electric in her first full match at Wake. Only played 1 set last night. Ibrahim. Crawford is so long and uses that wingspan to dump it in.
Those deathly tips. West Virginia has not figured out how to pick up these tips, whether it's from Crawford or Charles or who have you. If West Virginia wants to extend this to a 5th set, they're gonna have to figure out some sort of defensive scheme for that.
And you imagine with the high hitting errors last night for Wake, if that was a conversation point for Randy Smart today.
Keep it in play. When in doubt, play it out. You want to make sure that you're not just giving easy points to the team just because you had a rough pass, right? You want to make sure that you're still causing the other team to earn their points.
A service ace continues the run here for Ryan Baker. Make it a back-to-back aces, and Wake off to a nice start in set 4.
Wake doing a great job, apparently, with their push-ups. But I was going to say, with targeting the off blocker, or excuse me, the off hitter for West Virginia, we can see.
You can just admit it. You're distracted by the push-up power.
I'm a little distracted by the push-up power.
Dragini Schwarzenegger over there, pumping up down in Muscle Beach.
You can see they flipped it.
Well, that Muscle Beach goes quiet quick. Good in system for Lederer.
And that's why they say don't serve the libero.
That was about as open of a net as you're ever going to see at Division I. Charles was still down on the ground. There was a lot of room to operate. Coyle targets Maruska. She had trouble in the first 2 sets. A little better there. Ibrahim into the net and a hitting error for West Virginia.
That's only her 2nd error as well. Before this, she was hitting a 364, 5 kills. Now hitting a 333, so not bad by any means.
Jen Greeny likes that Ibrahim not just is a middle, but can play the right side consistently to extend their offense a little bit.
They can get a little bit of a different look and switch things around if need be.
An uber athletic, all MEAC performer a year ago, who's off balance and late. A mistiming kill makes it 5-1.
This is what's tough. West Virginia's normal things aren't working. Setting their outsides, getting into a good rhythm and serve receive. So now they're trying to do things that they don't normally do.
You see the 18 attacking errors.
Whew. Almost a whole set in attack errors.
You're noticing, too, a lot of off-balance swings from West Virginia today. No touch of the net, so point Mountaineers there on the miss from Murphy.
Finally, a relief for the Mountaineers, which is going to bring McGath back to the front.
And she was dominant in her rotations.
She's tied for highest number of kills, and she's got no errors. 7 kills on 13 attempts. She's hitting a 538. She's having a fantastic night.
That sneaks through the block, and Murphy continues a quality match. 9 kills after 10 yesterday.
It's going to be a tough set for West Virginia if they don't figure out their blocking scheme and picking up the tips. They were great in that 2nd set with picking up the tips, but it seems like they lost it a little bit.
How about Grikovic in the middle, adding to her solo block totals, and Wake Forest now controlling the net, Haley.
Wake Forest doing a great job reading the play. They know on a perfect pass, they haven't had that many perfect passes, that they're gonna wanna run the middle. So they're just camped on her.
It's a Pittsburgh team that averaged 3 blocks a set to lead the ACC last year. Wake has been controlling the net today until that swing. A kill for Cassidy Tanton.
Before that kill, she was hitting negative 062. Tough night. So that helped her a little bit climb up, but
more
not
importantly,
much.
she hasn't been able to put points away, right? It's been so many long swings, long rallies. Tanton hasn't terminated points.
And she has more kills, or excuse me, more errors than kills, which is going to be detrimental.
Randy Smart noted this offseason she wants to use the Bick attack, the back row, a little more. There's Crawford making it happen.
Let's take a look at that Bick, which is just a quick tempo pipe.
Not all the plumbing terms make sense, but in volleyball it certainly translates. That's a back row attack.
Typically when there's a back row attack, you only want to single block it because theoretically your defense should be 3 straight across and handle it. So it gives you more one-on-one opportunities.
Oh, hit the noggin of Ricks, and Farrell saves it.
What a run by Farrell.
Maruska's turn. And it falls on the court. So the head and the hands lead to a point.
A lot of frustration right now from Lauren Dello.
Watch the noggin.
Let's take that. We call that a turn and burn in volleyball. That was a fantastic defensive move by Farrell and very disappointing.
Timeout West Virginia. Wake Forest rolling here in set 4.
Picture this. It's late.
Volleyball, it's certainly exciting tonight. Wake Forest up in this 4th set, looking to put the match away. It's a great opening weekend. We saw Tennessee draw 6,000 against top 10 Penn State. Reynolds Gym is packed and loaded for this ACC Big 12 matchup. And then, of course, tomorrow, Wisconsin and Texas battle it out in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. There's a lot of big matchups, Haley, to start the year.
Definitely really exciting right now. I mean, I think the most exciting game going on this weekend is this one right now, of course. We'll have to see if they're able to extend it to a 5th.
Wake Forest searching for that first win of the year and inching Randy Smart closer to 200 career victories. The club's up 6 in the set. New middle comes in. Lauren Bodley. Bodley now on the right side, gets a swing. And through the double, quick first point for the Iowa Western Community College transfer.
I gotta say, it feels like everybody on West Virginia has the best out-of-system hands. I've seen both middle set and outside set, the libero set. I'm like, their out-of-system hands are fantastic.
Give a ton of credit here to Jen Greeny. She was an All-American middle and said, our team spends time passing. We do not ignore that part of the game.
Another tip. Scoring for Wake Forest.
It's not just waiters who get tipped well in this state. It's Wake Forest's offense.
Well, and we can see other Coach Greeny up there kind of talking to his defense, telling him what to do, and it just doesn't seem like they've really made an adjustment.
Burdette and Jen, the husband-wife tandem, as there's a middle kill for West Virginia.
And if you're Wake Forest, you're gonna ride that pony until it doesn't work, right? You're going to do that same shot over and over and over and over until they don't pick it up, and they really haven't made that adjustment, so why stop? Saves your arm, too, for a long weekend of volleyball.
Both teams. And the dump down point, Quincy Coyle. Coyle up to 8 kills.
Becca Bellows almost saved that. That's a really tough play.
Wake Forest, one of just 4 ACC teams to lose yesterday. They want to get back to the winning marks. And that'll certainly help. A block for Crawford.
And all of that starts with that pass. That pass from Maruska. She's really improved her passing there at the end of the third and into this fourth set. And it makes a difference.
Randy Smart noted this offseason, spending a lot of time in group activities outside the sport to learn how to finish, learn how to create moments. Being in adversity, how do they respond? Well, here they are in the fourth set, up 5. Tough angle there for Ricks to keep it alive. And Crawford finds the line. Back-to-back points for Page.
Crawford has had so much success with this line. They were blocking her early on when she was kind of hitting Langle. And now she figured out they're leaving her true line open. You can see that nice gap given by Bodley, who's 6'4".
A service error there for Wake, snaps the 2-0 run. With Olivia Frankie not checking in yet at the middle, it's been a heavy rotation for Charles today, back in from injury, along with Grikovic.
This is a strong rotation offensively for the Mountaineers. They're really going to want to capitalize if they can. Ooh.
Whoa, and Charles hit that one towards us. Haley, you're the libero, you got it.
I got it. Don't worry.
I'm more the serve specialist.
The low sets are tough. The low sets are tough. When in doubt, you want to err high, because at least if she misses, Farrell's back there covering.
One of the rare in-system miss sets from Wake tonight. They've been good teeing up hitters. And even better out of system, in fact. Quincy's kept up by Bellows, and it's down for the point. Coyle now 9 kills.
Bellows really hasn't had to dig that many balls tonight. She's only had 4 digs in this entire match, so I'm not surprised that West Virginia is trying to work a little bit harder to make her play some defense, right? A setter's core competency theoretically should be setting, not defense. And if you take out that setter, you take out the middle.
Unless you're Rachel Fairbanks, the pit, who can do everything. Nice kill backside for the transfer Layla Ricks.
That angle was honestly unbelievable. Let's take a look. She's so high above the block. I mean, that's inside the 10-foot line with the snap of her wrist. That's beautiful.
Here's Ricks up to 8 kills. She only played in 1 set last night. They're making a huge impact in these rotations. And she subs out. Finvold goes middle. What a block. Charles the roof, and Wake is a team. 14 blocks. That's a lot of points.
Charles's 3rd block this match, making her impact. Let's take a look at that one-on-one. Earlier in this game, we saw when she took line, she tried to cover for the setter, and then she changed her block assignment to cover cross.
There's
and we can see it made a big
again.
difference.
Oh, creative touch from Ibrahim to split the middle. The Alberta, Canada product, lone foreign player for West Virginia.
West Virginia is sick of seeing the tips come to them. They know they can do it on their own as well.
And pardon me, Shalina Lederer is also from Munich, Germany. So 2 foreign prospects coming in for Coach Greeny. Here's Crawford. What a block. Ibrahim raises up.
Lederer with 7 blocks on the night. Ibrahim with 15, or excuse me, with one, excuse
Those
with
big hands.
5
That's
blocks.
for sure.
Yeah, I was about to say 5 blocks on the night.
That led to the second set win for West Virginia. Dominant at the net, and that one shot long, so it's only a 2-point difference.
A better decision
early
by Charles.
do you use the timeout here if you're Randy Smart? When do you want to use it?
I would say this point or the next point. You really want to see if they can get out of it in terms of serve receive. But if you see a mental breakdown at this point, that's when you call the timeout.
Charles a little out of her reach, but keeps it over. Tanton down line and a point. West Virginia on a 4-0 run.
Tanton fighting to get back into this offense.
And there's the timeout.
Now finally hitting in the positives here in this first set.
So West Virginia's flipped the script. Not a huge offensive set, but their defense and rally plays have got them back in it.
They're doing a much better job picking up the scrappy stuff. Those tips that we've talked a lot about, executing on those free balls, getting a multitude of players involved in the offense. And we can see they have that 4-0 scoring run. It's going to be really important for them to get this first serve over and in aggressively. You don't want to crush the momentum with boom, serve right into the net, and then focus on not letting Wake Forest score with those little tips and those rolls and things like that. They have to identify who the hot hitters are and know that that's who Wake Forest is going to want to deliver the ball to. And that's what makes it tough, because they have so many players who have been really hot tonight. You have Murphy, 9 kills, Maruska, 9 kills, Ricks, 8, Crawford, 8. So you're kind of looking at very balanced no matter what rotation that they're in.
A West Virginia program that lost 10 straight to end the year. And it's been on the bulletin board of Coach Jen Greeny, fixing the culture, bringing more toughness. And we've seen in this 4th set, they could have easily fallen apart after a huge start for Wake. It bounced back quite.
Bouncing back, and I really like, I've seen several players who seem to be really stepping up in between plays. I've seen Lauren Dello really bringing the team together, and I know that we talked with Coach Jen Greeny before the match about Sydney Reed, their libero as well, and how she's done such a great job coordinating and quarterbacking that back row. I think the tips have really disrupted their defense, but they're starting to pick them up a little bit more.
Following the timeout, the 4-0 run continues for the Mountaineers. And here's Quincy Coyle, the Fort Lupton, Colorado native. Targeting Crawford. And Page couldn't find that set, so West Virginia's knotted it up.
And this is going to be the most difficult serve receive pattern for Wake Forest. You have your 2 outside hitters over taking up the majority of the court, and then you have Emma Farrell kind of pinned with the setter. So it's just a very awkward serve receive.
Murphy through the block, and that's been the solution for Wake. The right side with back-to-back double-figure kill nights.
Murphy was quiet early on in this set, or excuse me, in this match, and now she's lit up with 10 kills, leading the team with a .412 hitting percentage.
Remember, Murphy missed all of last year with a knee injury. She just came back yesterday, led the team in kills. The same again tonight. As that error gives it right back. Typically, right sides won't lead your team in kills. Maybe a middle in a set. Typically, your opposite hitter or your outside hitters. But it shows Wake loves to feed the right sides in one-on-one.
They do. Typically, your outsides are going to lead. I know Kylie Long, now Lee, has the rally scoring record, who is an outside hitter. And before her, there was Trina Massa de Moya, a Penn State transfer, wow, to Wake Forest, who led before rally scoring. And she was also an outside.
Ibrahim gets the block. And Wake, who's been living on the pins tonight, but trouble that time. West Virginia riding a 6-1 run.
Ibrahim really heating up here, and we're seeing a lot more balance.
Baker. Maruska's dug out. Great effort by Reed. And the hands, ball kept up. Maruska, the roll.
Out of system here for West Virginia.
Tanton touches hands. Oh, hold on, no hands. Point Wake Forest.
That looks like it might be a challenge. We can see Greeny asking her team if they saw the touch before she wants to burn that challenge.
Confirming whose call this is. I think you got to use the challenge here for West Virginia.
It's a game to 9 at this point. And
okay, there's the challenge.
That's going to be the challenge for the touch.
That's only West Virginia's first, so they have one more regardless.
And one nice thing about the challenges, too, is if they notice anything else, they can call that. So if they noticed Wake Forest in the net or anything like that, they could also get the point that way. So we have to look for every kind of infraction.
Did any finger movement happen there? That was so tough to tell. That's probably our best look.
I personally didn't see that there was a touch, but again, they have more camera angles than we do, so she might be able to make a little bit better of a judgment call.
It's the low-stress job of sitting with the lanyard on the left and the high-stress job of working the DVR Sport on the right.
I just know his heart is pounding. But in any case, whether it's West Virginia point or Wake Forest point, this is a really great moment for both teams to strategize and talk about what they want to be doing better without burning that time out. And it's much more important for West Virginia because this game is do or die. You win or you go home. So if they want to extend to that 5th match, they're going to want to hope that there's a touch here. Let's take another look at that.
Okay, maybe Dior Charles's
might have been
right
Dior
hand?
Charles's right hand. It definitely wasn't the Wake Forest right side. Didn't look like it was Murphy. But that's what's crazy. Sometimes you will swear by one thing and see another camera angle and realize just how crazy the perspective change really can be. It looks like...
I think Dior might have admitted to touching it.
She looks a little mischievous, doesn't she? I was about to say.
I wouldn't put her hand under oath, but...
So it looks like that would then be West Virginia's point. So would that make the score 17-15?
Correct. It would flip the score.
Here's the final ruling.
What do you got for us, Judge?
Let's see.
No touch.
And where's Dior Charles's face?
She looks very surprised, I will tell you. Look, she gave the biggest high five.
Yeah, I think she knew she got away with one.
You win some, you lose some. But you know what they say, ball doesn't lie. So we can see challenges remaining. Wake Forest 2, West Virginia 2.
Back even at 16 in the race to 25. Finn Volden system. Ibrahim, no touch that time, and a 2-point swing here for Wake.
That'll be her 5th error. West Virginia only hitting .0. Well, now just a flat 0 this set. Wake Forest only hitting a 130.
More importantly, 7 points given away with errors in this set for West Virginia.
It's tough to win.
Ooh, off balance, and that one finds the floor. Nice timing.
West Virginia realizing the tips work really well.
McGath's like, oh, that's the strategy that's been beating us tonight. Let me try it out.
I can do that.
Entertaining 4th set.
My dad would always call it a pillow fight if both teams just kept tipping.
You know, it's a professional sport now, pillow fighting.
It works.
Here in Reynolds Gym, a fight of micro touches so far as Maruska tips one over. Then a big swing. Oh, that did not touch hands. Point, West Virginia back up 1.
Wake Forest not as accustomed to tipping on that right side.
In a battle of who can avoid mistakes in this set, West Virginia was down as many as 6, back up 1.
This is another one of those tough serve receives for Wake Forest. West Virginia serving short.
And the pipe pays off, 18 apiece.
That's beautiful. Ryan Baker did such a great job running all the way across the court, flipping around and running the middle. Take a look. She transitioned so fast. And that 3 ball, you know, some people call it a 32, a B, a 3, whatever you want to call it. That tweener ball between the middle and outside has been so successful for Wake Forest.
Bellows on the deep serve. She just checked in. Point, West Virginia. And Tanton's come to play in this 4th set.
Grikovic just not able to press all the way over the net. Conversating a little bit with Ricks right now and what they plan on doing next.
Cassidy Tanton, the Auburn transfer, with her family living 30 minutes away. She's come to play. Little tip drill, Ricks, and it falls in. Wake responds.
Ricks has been so fun to watch tonight. That'll be her 9th kill, which will tie her with Maruska, her 2nd most kills right now. 368 hitting percentage. Really, for your pins, anything above a 250 is money.
That's a service error. So now 5 lead changes in this set. And it's the Mountaineers back up 1.
This could definitely spell trouble for the Demon Deacons, who are so close to finishing this match.
What an early season test. Big 12 ACC matchup. And West Virginia looking to push to a 5th.
See that short serve.
Ricks rises up and misses wide.
We can see Burdette Greeny talking.
Now Ricks can jump out of a building.
She can. And it looks like they're going to potentially serve short again. It looks like they're going to try that area too. You don't normally have a middle who can sharpshoot the serve like, well,
right into the net. There's the challenge.
It's tough. Middles don't normally work on a lot of serving, and now Wake Forest has a middle back there as well. No Emma Farrell for this play, so it's going to be tough for the Demon Deacons to really get a run in this rotation.
There's Grikovic in to serve. Great swing on the backside, and we've noted Lauren Bodley, a huge impact arm. She gets the kill.
Bodley, not that many attempts tonight. Let's take a look. You can see Paige Crawford's base position on the block is pinched in because they really haven't run Bodley very many times. That's only her 4th set in 4 sets.
Overpass terminated. Ibrahim, nearly a 5th set coming. Timeout, Wake Forest. What's changed here in the 4th for West Virginia?
West Virginia is doing a much better job on defense, obviously doing a much better job swinging. We talked a few points ago, they were hitting a flat 0. Now they're at a 148, which again, isn't spectacular, but Wake Forest is at a 107. So sometimes you really just have to be a little bit better than your opponent. Taking a look at those hitting percentages there.
So West Virginia leaning on its middles in this 4th set. Maybe none better than Maddie McGath. When the Mountaineers have needed points, she stepped up. The Brookfield, Wisconsin native, and here you go. Some big plays from today.
Right now, I mean, half of everything she touches is a kill. She's hitting 500. And she's really just made herself available defensively and offensively. 5 block solos tonight, 1 block assist, 16 attempts, only 1 error on 9 kills.
It's a screaming match of fans. There's great turnout. You have Western Virginia, you have Wake and Forest going back and forth.
I know it's hard to differentiate the colors a little bit because Wake Forest has the old gold.
You have new gold and old gold.
Yes, so it's kind of hard to tell who's for who right now.
The great news, there's a tremendous atmosphere here at Reynolds Gym. I love the folks who wear like NFL hats to college volleyball, you know.
Got to do what you got to do. Got to support your team.
I know Travis and Taylor are the hottest ticket in town. The Chiefs will always be fancy. Here we go, 23-20 in the fourth.
West Virginia has really taken control of this set and might rip this match right out of Wake Forest's hands.
Finvold targets Crawford. Ricks gets hands and a point for Wake Forest.
Ricks now tied for first on the team in number of kills with Olivia Murphy hanging out at 10 on 21 attempts, hitting a .333.
And this brings Murphy in the front for the next 3 rotations, Haley.
So this is a sweet spot for Wake Forest. If you're going to be down in the fourth winning set for yourself, you're going to want to have this rotation up front.
Ibrahim, other plans, set point West Virginia.
Ibrahim really stepping up here in this fourth set. She was kind of quiet. We can see Olivia Murphy not up on her blocking assignment, leaving a one-on-one situation.
Can the Mountaineers force 5? Into the net. So Wake will now have to serve out the set. And it's the junior.
This is a good serve-receive rotation for West Virginia, having Sydney Reed right in the middle. Her serve-receive has been nice tonight, but of course, whenever I say that, there's an ace, so I might have jinxed her.
Set point 2. Finvold. Tater off hands. And Cassidy Tanton is forced set 5.
And we are going to a 5th set here. We got some late night volleyball incoming.
And here's the setter, Alexis Finvold, to get things started. Just off the tape. And a race to 15 begins with a kill on the outside for Ricks.
I'm not surprised that first ball goes to Ricks, and now she's coming out. But Ricks, again, has been really effective tonight against West Virginia. You have West Virginia now in rotation 1, 3 hitters front. They should have a nice dynamic offense.
This is Ryan Baker, a fellow setter, in the serve. Great save by Murphy. And in the battle of tips and touches, Ibrahim rips one off the block. Point Wake Forest.
This is the hot start that Wake Forest needs to potentially finish this match. It's tough. The 5th set really, I feel like, is always about emotions and momentum rather than talent, because if you've gotten to the point where you're in a 5th set, it is anybody's game.
Service error, those are always crucial in the 5th. Make it 2-1.
That's a nice relief for West Virginia, I'm sure, which is going to bring Cassidy Tanton.
And her arm was huge in that 4th set.
Her arm was huge in that 4th set. She has 8 kills, again, hitting a .091, but that's a little bit deceiving. She's playing better than the numbers would suggest.
Long set Murphy. Great coverage by Reed. Baker does the same. Ibrahim off the double. Advantage West Virginia.
West Virginia finally able to pick up those tips and forcing Wake Forest to have to do something different, especially because that's what was working for Wake Forest in those past 2 sets. Maybe it was just a bait and switch. They just want Wake Forest to tip to them in a 5th.
Mirrored scores the first 4 sets has brought us to this 5th. And a great effort by Tanton to keep it alive, but Charles puts it away.
Wake Forest setting really tight to the net. They're lucky that they got out of that one. But Ryan Baker is going to want to adjust that set a little bit and be a little more consistent. I've seen a little bit of inconsistent setting in terms of distance from the net from both teams.
At the end of 2023, Wake lost 4 straight 5-set matches. This is a pinnacle moment early in 24. Now up a point as Maruska swings. That will go out out. Point Wake Forest.
Another big point for Wake Forest in this 5th set.
And the service run continues for Paige Crawford.
And this defensive scheme right now for Wake Forest is great. Crawford is leading the whole match with 13 digs.
No hands that time.
Ooh.
Wake up 3, its largest lead.
But
and a timeout for Jen Greeny. We'll take the timeout. Wake in early control nearing the halfway point of this 5th set. Who's going to take it home? We'll find out next. Matchup here at Reynolds Gym in Winston-Salem. Wake Forest up 3 in this 5th and deciding set. It's been a balanced attack. 3 in double figures. Ricks for the first time all year. Same for Maruska and Murphy back-to-back nights with 10+, Haley.
This is exactly what you want to see from the Demon Deacons.
So a 3-0 run forces the timeout. And here's Paige Crawford back to serve. Overpass. Advantage, Wake Forest.
Nothing Finvold can really do about that one since she's back row. She can't jump up and block, that's illegal. She can't reach over, that's illegal. So her hands are a little bit tied.
She got caught in a quagmire playing from the back row. Raid, good serve receive. Emma Farrell the answer. Maruska rockets it out, and let's see if Randy Smart will challenge. She has one left.
Great defensive effort by both teams.
And Randy Smart giving Maruska a high five after that shot. You have to like that as a coach.
It's hard to be mad at a player for making an aggressive error. You know, you want them to keep being aggressive.
Baker off her line. It won't matter for Murphy. Back kill. She's got 11.
The block really, really late. We can see Cassidy Tanton was not set. So the middle blocker couldn't really close with her, leaving gaps. Just too much open net.
Grikovic has re-entered for Wake, and she's been excellent at the net. Finvold near side. There's Grikovic's hands. The Rutgers transfer. That time sneaks it over the hands. Point West Virginia.
Smart tip. I do love seeing players tip when they want to tip, not because the set's too tight or because they're nervous or what have you. And now this is probably your tallest lineup against Wake Forest.
Maddie McGath comes back in. Lauren Bodley, who's been excellent on the opposite side.
Bodley standing at... Tough to hit through her.
Crawford tries it. Off hands. Tanton into the double. Advantage. Wake Forest block. That is 16 Team Roofs, Haley.
And that's going to be a side switch here in that 5th set. Let's take a look. The Wake Forest block doing a great job. Olivia Murphy is set up on the line, taking all line, and honestly a whole lot of cross too. There's not really a whole lot of open court for West Virginia to play with.
So the team switched sides after 8 points. Wake Forest halfway there.
West Virginia running out of volleyball to play. They need to make a switch quick, or this is going to be a very fast 5th set.
Back-to-back points for Wake Forest, and now Becca Bellows in to serve, the true freshman. Tanton, cute roll shot that's scooped out. Rex does the same. Such a jousting fight tonight. Both teams struggling to put balls away. Bellows there to block it. That's long. Wake Forest holds tough and a defensive point.
A whole lot of tipping, but I'm not overly shocked by that. A lot of times at the beginning of the year, we see a lot of tipping as people are still figuring out their patterns and their offensive schemes.
Timeout, West Virginia. What's the adjustment here for the Mountaineers down 5?
They need to figure out their offense. Right now, they're hitting a negative 200. And yes, they had a pass or two that was a little bit tight, but overall, the passing is good enough for them to not be hitting a negative 200. So if I'm them, I want to find the hot hand, which is going to be tough right now. We don't really have a whole lot of people for them.
There's certainly 4 talented arms tonight.
Yes.
Ibrahim in the 4th was really good. But in this 5th set, Haley, already 5 hitting errors for WVU.
5 hitting errors early on. And again, we're seeing a lot of really good movement from the middles and the outsides, but we can only get the middles involved, right, if the pass is really great. And then we're flinging them out to the outside, but Wake Forest knows that it's going to the outside because that's the only place that they have in some rotations.
Meanwhile, Wake with 3 in double figures. And Grikovic, who only has 5 kills, but a couple of blocks in this set as well.
It's definitely going to be tooth and nail. I'm really interested to see what West Virginia does to prevent Wake Forest from scoring 6 more points. But if there's anything we know about volleyball, things can change very, very quickly.
Race to 15, win by 2. This is far from over.
And West Virginia came back in that last set as well, down to the wire. We have Becca Bellows in back row setting.
Good serve. And the dump down from Grikovic. The Rutgers transfer making her presence felt.
Another one of those lethally tight passes. I know that they want to get Maddie McGath into the offense, and the only way is to have a nice tight pass. But it's just too tight for a back row setter.
A 4-0 run for Wake. That's nearly 5. Bellows with options. Into the net. That's a big point for West Virginia.
Grikovic kind of got a low set in her defense, but in any case, you just want to make a play. You want to make sure that you're still putting that ball in play. She's still hitting a 444 on the night, though, so that's only her 2nd error.
And it's freed over.
West Virginia is going to want to use this free ball.
Rex the save. Another soft touch and a great effort by Bellows. Rex off hands.
Seems like a lot of misconnections with both teams and their setters.
Nearly a double touch, but Bellows keeps it up. And a block in system. Great hands from Grikovic.
Great play by Wake Forest. Sticking out those long rallies. Paige Crawford able to get that up. Big celebration from the Demon Deacons. And it's going to be really hard for the Mountaineers to morally come back from that.
How about 12 blocks in a 5-set match? Crazy. She goes up again. And Crawford the block.
It's those sets that are way too tight that I was talking about in that 4th set. It's just too tight. Lauren Dello might switch up to be the setter, but it looks like they made kind of a funky subbing so that Alexis Finfold is still setting.
The last time a Wake Forest player had 10+ total blocks, Katie Moore back in 2016, and it's leading to a huge set for Wake Forest.
That was my college roommate, fun fact.
And here's Wake knocking on the door of a 5-set win. What does West Virginia have left in the bag? Wake's been sniffing out these touches. Back set. Ricks, set point.
Ricks now in the lead for kills in this entire match, notching 12 with only 3 errors on 26 attempts, giving her a 346. She's also had 6 blocks, 2 digs.
The hands of Wake Forest combined with Rick's arm. Match point in the 5th. Last chance. That goes out. Match continues.
West Virginia fighting right now. And it's nerve-wracking. That 5th set, when it's the other team's game point, I would rather be receiving. It's a lot easier to side out and score typically when you're receiving. And this is a tough rotation with no libero for West Virginia.
Wake Forest swings in the 5th. That goes out. So Crawford misses in back-to-back points. This would be a Herculean 5th, but West Virginia, 4 players with 9+. They've shown the ability to get on runs.
I think everybody just wants the big game-winning kill right now, and I can't blame them.
Match point number 3. Options Bellows. Ricks finds the floor, and Wake Forest grinds out their first win of the season in a tight 5-set match.
13 kills for Ricks after only playing a set yesterday.